lie there in that old curiosity shop.
Buying peanuts in the shell and riding on a carousel reminds me of the things I used to do. I was really quite content with those prosaic years I spent, and like a weed I flourished and I grew. But oh, the pain of never knowing you. You must have been a beautiful baby. You must have been a wonderful child. I bet when you were starting to go to kindergarten, I bet you drove the little boys wild. And when it comes to winning blue ribbons, I bet you showed the other kids how.
Hi everybody, it's Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop, and I am back with another thrift haul. Just look at all that stuff. Let's dive right in. Now, one thing that I'll say is you are seeing some things that you saw me pick up in the last video. I think it was the last thrift haul video. There's a few things here that you saw in my cart. But there's some other things that I picked up later that day that are not pictured here. So I'm going to talk about everything. First of all, you'll remember seeing these two Anchor Hocking vases in my cart. I paid $1 each. They are from, I think Anchor Hocking started making these in the late 40s, but they might not have been produced until the 50s, into the 60s, and it's the iconic ruby red and forest green. They made tons of these vases, many different shapes and sizes. I have started putting together quite a nice collection of them. Now, individually, they might sell for $3, $4, $5, $6 each. But I see bigger prices when you sort of group them together and sell them as a lot. So I'm just going to keep collecting them and see what happens. The two fish here in the front came from a different thrift shop. And we see this one guy here. They're planters. And then the other fish over here. Now, they're not the same type of fish. And luckily, they're completely marked. This is black bass. While we're under here, we'll see the embossed Japan. And over here, get it turned the right side up. Zoom in on it. We see Rubens Originals of Los Angeles, and then made in Japan. Well, Rubens Originals, that company was incorporated on July the 1st, 1947. Which is actually the year that the first occupied Japan pieces from Japan started coming into this country. They started making occupied Japan in 1945, but we really didn't get any imports until 47. These are not occupied Japan, but they were made in Japan by an American company, Rubens Originals, from Los Angeles, California. Now, some of you will recognize the Rubens original name from the Lady Head vases. Plenty of those out there. These two fish, by the way, this one over here is, who are you? You are golden trout, and you're also nicely marked. I was really surprised to find these two without a chip on any of them. All these little fins and everything, they're in perfect shape. And they seem to have a little bit of a following online. I think that I can sell the two of these for around 20 bucks. I saw one fish sold for around 24, and then a group of 3 fish sold for 30, so we're somewhere in that range. And they were I want to say $1.99 each, so I was happy to pick those up. Jackstraws, a little game made by Milton Bradley. This particular one from the 1920s. I'm probably going to end up selling this at a flea market. There are a lot of versions. Apparently this was quite popular. Who played this as a kid? It's a little bit before my time, but all the pieces are there. This is the rest of the box, which I'll probably just leave it the way it is. But again, I'm going to take this to a flea market and probably get about $5 for it. Paid $1 for it. I've talked about Georges Briard before, so I'm not going to go into his history here. He was a, and here I go. No, I'm not. But what I love about this little olive server or pickle server is, you know, that they attach the fork to a chain, and it's like completely attached here. And what do they think? Somebody's gonna steal the fork? I love it. And I think it says Japan on the back of the fork. That's not going to focus, so we're not going to worry about it. But once you've seen 2 or 3 pieces of Georges Briard, you know exactly what his style is. And he signs everything, and there it is. See it? Now, I don't know, I didn't look this up. His pieces all have pattern names. There's Forbidden Fruit and Persian Garden, and I don't remember this one, but that's some kind of a bird. So I'll look this up and find out what the name of the pattern is. From the 1960s, I really haven't even looked to see what this sells for. I used to find a lot of Georges Briard. I haven't found much lately, but this is unusual, so I couldn't help but pick it up for about $2, and it should sell for at least 12 to 15. This from the 1950s, 60s is a little planter. It's marked on the bottom. I'll let you see it. I don't know. Can you make that out?
You're a regular listener to music in the Morgan manner. You'll no doubt recognize this very familiar theme.
I think you can. I lost my train of thought for a second there, but that happens. It's got all of its little rubber feet. There aren't any chips on it. There are some calcium deposits around the rim, which will come off probably with a little bit of vinegar and a 4/0 steel wool. Take that right off. Let's see. And this is a little planter with the sort of random threading design on it. That was $1, and that should sell for 10 to 12. That pot back there, when I saw it, was screaming 1940s to me, and it was screaming snake plant. The snake plant has been planted in it. It did not come with that plant. I did that. There's no maker's name on the flower pot at all, but as I said, it really looked very 40s to me. It's in really good shape, and obviously since I, put a snake plant in it, I'm keeping it. I also bought this for myself to use next Christmas, I think. I don't collect silver plate, and I really don't have much silver plate, but I was really attracted to this. Let me back up and sort of let you see the whole thing, if I can. Isn't that great? It's got beautiful height to it, which probably doesn't show up well by the angle of this video, but I love this thing, and I think it's going to look great on a dining room table at Christmas time. Can't you just see it with all the holly and the ivy coming out of it? And I'm not even going to polish it. I'm leaving it just like that. I really like the detail. And I'll tell you, I have gone over this thing and over it and over it and over it, and I can find nothing, which is extremely unusual for silver plate or quadruple plate. But I have studied it, and I'm telling you, I've looked everywhere, and I can find no marks. Don't know who made it. Don't know when it was made. I've looked under the handle, over the handle, everywhere, and I can't find a single mark on it. I did pay $12 for it because I knew I was keeping it, because I liked it. And so that will not be in the old curiosity shop. That's going to stay right here. I always seem to sell these, and so I'm continuing to pick them up. It's Anchor Hocking Fire King. Oh my goodness, which you can see there, and it's got the painted fruit design on it. I have sold everything from little berry bowls or ramekin bowls, custard bowls, to French onion soup bowls. This is one of the mixing bowls, and this will sell for $10 to $12. This Pyrex bowl just sold this morning. It's part of the, well, I forget, sunflower. I think there were 4 of these. 2 sort of in the orange color with sunflowers on them, and then 2 in this yellow color. But the little bowl sold, and the lady sent me a message and she said, ship it right away because I need it. I'm making cookies for Father's Day to mail off, and she needs this bowl to make the cookies. So this is going out first thing tomorrow morning. That was only $1, and I think I sold it for, I don't know, $8 or $9. Now this I've never seen before. You're looking at it and you're saying, oh, Pyrex. Yeah, from a distance I thought, oh, Pyrex. But then a closer look said, well, that blue is a little bit unusual. That's not quite the Pyrex blue I'm used to seeing. And when I flipped it upside down, I saw it was a Fire King Anchor Hocking bowl. But it's got the fired on or sprayed on color, the same way the primary bowls do from Pyrex. It's in excellent condition, really nice, and part of a nesting set. And I'm guessing, I didn't even look it up, but I'm guessing it probably was produced sometime in the 50s to compete with Pyrex's popular primary set. This you saw from the thrift shop. It's the little Halo Silo salt and pepper shakers with the kind of the 1960s paper made in Japan, which you can see pretty well there. I don't know why. Why did my camera just do something funny? Did the light just go down? It could be me. I don't really need to say much about Franciscan in the Desert Rose pattern. It was one of and is one of the most popular patterns. It had a very, very, very long run. Good grief, I don't know, from the late 30s into the 70s, maybe even beyond that. Don't quote me on that, because I didn't look it up. There was a ton of that, and and I've never bought Franciscan Desert Rose. There's so much of it out there, and there was a truckload in my thrift shop. But I did some research. I didn't buy anything that was extremely commonplace. I bought some of the more unusual things. So these are little footed sherbet cups, and these have already sold. I'm going to talk about already sold in a minute, so hold on for a second. So these 4 are sold, and they sold for $20, so $5 each. Excuse me, and I paid 99 cents each for them. This little celery boat server here has not sold yet. I anticipate that it will soon. But if I turn this upside down, and these are in super shape, by the way. The marks changed over the years. This is the early one. This is the original mark from when this was first produced. Is it not focusing? There we go. You see that? Made in California. This is the real stuff. So, yeah. This you saw from the thrift shop. The Serenity Prayer. And that'll bring a few dollars. I didn't pay much for that. There's the chrome cocktail shaker that I am gonna remove this. I'm gonna keep this for now, simply because I'm really putting, can you see me? I'm pointing while I'm talking, although nobody can see me. I'm gonna keep this because I've really been coming across a lot of vintage 1930s cocktail items, which I like, although I don't drink cocktails. But this I'm just going to hold on to for now. It has its lid and this screw-on lid over the little pouring spout there. And this is probably Farberware. And it is Farberware. These tend to be kind of all over the place. They're not rare. The ones that have Bakelite handles in green and butterscotch and red usually bring more money. And then back there, let's see, have we got everything except the L.E. Smith? Yes. And you can't really see very well the L.E. Smith because it's black glass and it's dark back there. But I was very excited to get, let's move these guys into the light, 2 of these matching L.E. Smith vases. Black glass, also called Amethyst, and we can see little dancing women on the front. Very Art Nouveau in style, but yet these things were made in the 30s, maybe even into the 40s, and they're not rare. They don't sell for a lot of money. I've always wanted one, but I've never found one in the wild, so to speak. I could have easily picked one up online years ago, but I wanted to actually find one, and lo and behold, the other day I found 2 of them in the thrift shop. They had that awful plastic stuff binding the 2 arms together. I was so afraid they were going to chip or break, but they didn't. So now I've got one to keep and one to sell. So what do you think? Do you like it? They sell for really only, believe it or not, $8 to $12 online. But it's cool. Now the one I really like, and I've also wanted this for a while, and I found this a day later at another thrift shop. It's also a great big amethyst black glass vase, which I think is also attributed to L.E. Smith. I'm not certain about that, but look at this one. Really nice Art Deco design. I know my lighting isn't good. It's kind of hard to appreciate this. This is a big, heavy glass vase. And I paid $4 for this one. Really love the Art Deco design on it. And I'm definitely keeping this. So it was great to find all this black glass at 2 different shops 2 days apart. Okay, so that's everything I want to talk about right now. Most of this, let's focus again. These are sold. This is already sold. That's going to go to a flea market. I'm holding on to those. This I'm keeping. The flower pot I'm keeping. But, oh, and this I'm keeping. So I guess there's not a whole lot here on this counter that's going to be for sale in the old curiosity shop. But you're more than welcome to go check it out. Sometimes I'm out of order with this. It's, you know, I find things, and sometimes I do the thrift haul video first and show the items. Sometimes I actually get them posted in my shop first, and they might occasionally already sell, you know, before I do the video. But I try to tell you that to make sure you know. Most of the time, the things that you see in the videos will, within the next day or 2, will show up in the eBay shop. Okay, that's all for today. I'm Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop saying thanks for watching and so long for now.